Hello.
Hi, Christian. How are you doing?
I'm good, Joanna. I'm very good, Joanna. So I'm really good to meet you again. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very nice to connect. And our last conversation was very spontaneous and very alive. And I like that we decided to do it again. And now we recorded it. And let's talk. Let's talk about the juicy things.
Exactly. I think we both are very passionate about self-development, about healing, about Tantra. So we have so much to talk. I think we could talk for hours. But
Definitely, definitely.
maybe we can start from the beginning and just share a little bit about our journeys, how it started, and why we are doing what we are doing these days, right?
Yeah, you're right. Why?
Mm.
Why we are doing?
Do you want to start? Share a little bit about your journey
Yeah,
and
actually,
yeah.
it's a good question. Yeah, the beginning is always about the beginning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I was in the ending my high school, and I had a 1 year of just being free, flowing,
Mm-hmm.
no university. I didn't enter a university. I've done a law university after,
Mm-hmm.
but that moment, 1 year, I was waiting, doing my things. For the first time in my life, I had the free time with myself. No
Mm-hmm.
rush, no doing things other wanted from me. And I say,
Like
what the fuck do I
yeah.
want to do in my life, with my friends? And then at a certain moment, I saw an advertisement about a course about the Mayan civilization, about the sacred marriage, about Kundalini. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
wow, what is this? Let's go. I love it.
Wow, you
And
had no
then
idea what all these things were, right?
I had some ideas, but I
Okay.
didn't get
Mm-hmm.
too much into it. And that
Mm-hmm.
was the moment when I felt, wow, that's amazing. And now I have a lot of time to go. It was a school like I could go every week for
Mm-hmm.
4 years or like 2 3 years. Like was educational, but also very much into practices. They were doing quite every week practices and making it shorter, at a certain moment I felt, wow, that's the family, that's the people I want to be with. Because before that, I felt, where is my place? I don't feel my place. I don't feel where I belong. I moved from one school to another, but actually deep inside was a need for feeling seen, being seen, and being with the same frequency of people.
Mm-hmm.
So at that
Mm-hmm.
moment, I felt, yeah, like my home, and I started to go also to other courses after. But that was the beginning for me, and I remember I was so enthusiastic that all many friends from my high school. I say, you should come here with me, and my mother and
Yeah.
my father. Oh, let's go! I found something very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was so beautiful, and that was the moment when I remember one of the days it was the theme of I think Kundalini and sexual energy and Tantra. That was the moment I was like, "Fuck, it's this amazing! Wow, I
Mm-hmm.
really love it!" And it was the first time I heard like the sperm is actually energy. I say, wow, it's amazing. I didn't hear any time before that. And it was
Yeah.
like a recognition inside of me. And I felt like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. It starts a journey, and then I will continue this. And that
Mm-hmm.
was the moment when I had the glimpse. And I
Yeah.
started to walk on the path. Yeah,
Yeah.
19 years old. Now I have 43. So still the life is,
Wow.
yeah.
I feel you are a very, blessed man for having found this path so early in your life because I know many people that only find it in their 30s, in their 40s, and that's after a lifetime on, misusing that energy and giving away that energy in ways that deplete them, and also a lifetime of hiding themselves from themselves, so numbing themselves, because people sometimes are afraid to feel the emotions, to feel their bodies, so they spend a lifetime numbing into addictions, numbing with porn, numbing with working too much and being busy just to escape what it means to feel their body, right? And
Yeah,
you were so lucky to find this path right away when you were 19 years old. That's
absolutely. Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you for seeing this. I really
Mhm,
appreciate this. Yeah, yeah.
mhm.
It was indeed, but this didn't took me from experience I needed to have. Yeah, I still needed to have experience to knock the doors which were closed, and to knock my head on different obstacles, and that's life, and that's how you learn. But was beautiful and still is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious also about yourself a little bit. I'm really enthusiastic to hear you, and how did you start this also your journey? Yeah.
Yeah, I will share, and I have so many questions for you, but maybe
Yeah, I
I can
also
ask
have for
later.
you. So yeah, I have my question like spontaneous. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so my path is very different from yours because it was when I was 19 years old that I realized how depressed I was. And I was already suffering from eating disorders since I was 16, 17 years old. And when I was 19 years old, these eating disorders became really severe. I was suffering from bulimia. So that
mm,
was when I was like, okay, there is something really wrong going on with me. And bulimia was my way to numb myself, was my way to escape from the things that I couldn't face in myself. And at that time, I was just starting university. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, I didn't have the luxury of having a break between school and university. So I was the good student, so it was just a given that I would go to university. But I went to university without really knowing myself. So I was studying something that was very demanding, and I study biomedical engineering, which is a very heavy mental,
I can understand.
analytical course.
And
And
engineering and medicine at the same time.
it's
Wow.
crazy, crazy,
And
yeah. And
biology.
yeah, and it was when I started that master degree that I realized how disconnected I was from myself, because I was studying something I had zero passion about. I was doing it just because it was expected from society, from parents, from family, without them actually pressing me. But it was like expecting that a good student would just have an amazing career. So I was just studying something that would bring me to a successful career. But I was miserable because I had no passion about it. And that's when I really dived deep into my depression, eating disorder. And that's when I also started to seek for help. So I was lucky enough to have a free psychotherapist in my university. So that's how I start my healing. And this woman, this psychotherapist, she accompanied me all my years in the university until I graduated. But then I was like, okay, I just graduated, but I really have no passion about this degree that I have. What should I do with this? And then I was even more lost when I finished. And that's when I found Buddhism. I found Buddhism through a roommate. I just moved into a new home. I was living in Lisbon at that time. And this friend of mine, she introduced me to Buddhism. And so that's when I started my connection to a Buddhist community, where I start to talk about my problems. I start to talk about my suffering without feeling ashamed. So what this community offered me was a space where I could really show myself in my most vulnerable way I could share my darkest sides, and then would just offer validation. They would say, "It's okay, Jordan. I can hear you. You are still lovable. You are still amazing. Just because you are sick doesn't matter. You cannot be happy." And that was something that really shifted in me, was when someone told me, I can be sick and still be happy. I can be sick and still start a relationship. I can be sick and still find a career that brings me joy, because it's while I live my life that I will heal my disease. Because until that point, I thought that only when I heal my disease, I can start a relationship.
Yeah, yeah,
I can
I'm
start a
worthy.
career. Yeah,
Only when I do this, I'm worthy of going to the next step. Yeah.
exactly. So that community was a huge support for me to start my healing journey. And it took me 2 years since I started practicing this Buddhism to really put light into what was the root cause of my suffering. And just by putting the light on, the way I didn't felt connected with my emotions, I didn't felt connected emotionally with my parents, for example, just putting the light on that, it helped to shift and heal. And I started to be more open with my parents and sharing more with them what I was going through. And was through sharing and getting rid of the shame of my disease that I actually healed the disease. So it took me 2 years since I started the Buddhism practice to stop my bulimia cycles. But then it took me some more years until I could really love my body, because that was also the root cause of eating disorders, is normally because someone doesn't really love their body. So they want kind of to destroy it in a way, unconsciously, of course.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and then it still took me many years to understand that this academic career was not for me. And it was only in 2019 that I had enough. I had a burnout at that time. It was probably the third burnout I had in my academic career. And I was like, this is not serving me anymore. I cannot really be successful in this career because I have no passion. And I understood that my burnout was not because I was working too much, but was because I had no passion about what I was doing. So there was a lot of frustration. So in 2019, I quitted my job and I start meditation. That's when I start other kinds of spiritual practices besides the Buddhism practice that I had already for almost 10 years by then. And it was meditation and yoga that then led me to think, okay, if I'm quitting my job, maybe now I have this free time to really find what is my passion, what is my purpose. And that's when by then I was already living in Denmark, and I decided to go to Bali to study yoga and meditation. So I went there, and that's when the pandemic happened, and I thought I would be there for 2 months, and I ended up staying there for almost 2 years. And it was in Bali that I found the teachers, the mentors that really helped me to find the practice to connect with my body. That's when I found Tantra. That's when I found intimacy practices. That's when I started studying about men, studying about women. And that's when I understood my passion is really about bringing people to connect to their body, to feel their emotions, and to love themselves beyond measure, independently of external circumstances. So that has been a huge passion for me. And yeah, so now that I am back from Bali to Copenhagen again, I have this fire in me that I want to share what I've been learning all those years there. Yeah.
So beautiful to hear all the stories and the summary of your journey. Yeah, I really resonated also with you when you said about you didn't feel passion for the academic career you're supposed to be in. And yeah, I also felt the same. Yeah, with my university with law, I did university, and then it was to become a lawyer, and I was for a while a lawyer, but then I realized the same. Oh, I don't see myself 10 years from now being in the same field, in the same activity. I don't see myself as a lawyer. I don't want to do this anymore. So then I decided to leave it and yeah, do other things that was more calling for me. Like one thing that I've done, I said, okay, let's let's work into sales. So I become a salesman for a band. So let's interact more with people and be more free with movement. It was a transition for me. Yeah, and slowly I did also other things, different businesses, tea house, and different other things that put me out there more into a life of passion and aliveness. And yeah, yeah, and also you're mentioning about Bali, about Tantra, about all these beautiful teachers and courses that you've done. Um, uh, I also felt like a calling to go to let's say to Thailand. I was in Thailand in the same period of 2019-20 for just before the pandemic. I came back. I realized now that I would have stayed one more month, I would have been there for 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
But
You wouldn't come back.
yeah, definitely. But it was nice because I didn't stop searching, and last year was 2020, 2021, and I went to another retreat for professionals working together for 3 months in somewhere in Lanzarote in Canary Island. So we were having a lot of fun and a lot of energy work together, and many things moved anyway. Besides pandemic was there, we were creating our own bubble of energy. So this is the beauty. Yeah. So you're mentioning you have many questions for me. So I'm very curious about your next question, and then I have also a question.
Amazing. Yeah. So you said you started this healing spiritual path when you were 19. So maybe you don't know so much what happens to a person that develops themselves without that path so early, but maybe you could share, what did you wish men would know that you found so early in your path? Maybe you can share one or two things that you feel this would change completely the way men relate to themselves, or maybe men relate to their intimate partner, and that everyone should know about.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you for the question. Thank you very much. Yeah, actually, yes, indeed. And not right now, I'm a coach for men and intimacy, and this is a beautiful. I'm very passionate about this part of my life. And when you asked me this question, I realized that, oh man, I was at 21, 22. I really needed a man. I really needed a guide for me to really talk with him, like men things, men stuff, how to approach a woman, how to let go of being judgmental, a lot of judgmental towards myself, criticism, how to really love myself for who am I without without being like in this feeling of not being good enough. Like this was actually my story, and many other men that I work right now is this story of I'm not good enough, so what to do? Yeah. how
Mhm.
one would love me if I'm not good enough. How should I have this job if I'm not good enough? How should I approach this if I don't know? Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was actually what I felt and I was needing at the early ages to be with a man or with a group of men
Mm.
to learn to have this opportunity. And right now, when I'm doing a different retreat or yeah, or a course, online course, I remember that moment, and yeah, I feel happy to share this with you guys who are younger right now. And
Mhm.
I'm also having this calling to work with teenagers and
Oh wow.
yeah, do like a rite of passage for teenagers from 12 to 16. Yeah.
Wow, incredible. I feel shivers in my body just hear you talking about that because I feel it's so important.